we'll just talk a little bit and sort around what's up for you. And then, as I was saying, there's a selection of tools on the community support page. Most people I've been doing the one-to-ones with, we find ourselves to one of those tools. I cherry-picked out the tools that I thought would be best for a pandemic situation, and so far it's been bearing out that those tools are. But if something emerges here where I think a tool that I don't have on that page would be of help, I'll of course pull that in too. So we'll go wherever we need to go. So the context for this was processing support, and given the larger context of what's going on in the world. I have to clarify that for some people, because some people are thinking I'm giving away free visual skills coaching. So I think this is about inner work processing, not getting some free stuff of how to be a better graphic recorder. Yeah. Okay, so any thoughts about how this is impacting you, and what is a hot spot for you, and what you might feel comfortable in getting into?
Well, when I thought about talking today, what I'm feeling is an avalanche. Like there's an avalanche around me of a lot of different things, a lot of emotions. I'm in a small community. We hadn't had any cases yesterday. Our first case of COVID-19 was announced, as well as one that's in another community that's about an hour away. So anxiety went up like around me, and I'm actually not around many people except virtually. I'm pretty much isolated in my home, my own choice. I don't have to be, but I choose to be. Support the cause, and I rather like it that way, to be
Yes.
my home. But also like a lot to do in preparing. Like I had plans midstream of going out to the island, going back and saying, like I had said to you earlier, sometimes I think I should have done that. I could have been there because I'm isolated here. I could have been isolated there. So there's lots to do here, because I was in the middle of preparing to sell a house, and
transfer across the country. You were in the midst of a really big move, big shift in your life.
There's been some shifts in my work for the better. Today there was an announcement by our government to support services by businesses finding innovative ways to support people in the mental health stream. And since that's my background, I'm able to submit a proposal for that. So that's exciting. So that's a hopeful thing. And then the guilt came in, like, this is a bad time. Like, what, are you taking advantage of people? Shouldn't I be doing this for free? And so there's been a whole between an avalanche and a cyclone. That's how I feel. I go between.
Yeah, I'm just getting a hit of where to go with this process-wise. I think flip it.
Okay.
Other options would be let me lay out some of the others. I think you were at the fuller process group where we got into future self. So that's one, is to just go and dialogue to her. We can certainly kind of combine both, because it's always great to call in your future self when you get down all those, concerns and yeah buts down. And then you can kind of channel her for that. So there's a way to combine it. We may encounter in some of these different, in the avalanche, right? It may be that there's certain parts of the avalanche that have a certain charge to them, a deeper charge, a more traumatic charge that could be connected to orphan rescue stuff. So I still think, as I verbalize that out loud, flip it would be a good place to start, because it kind of contains it all. And then we may springboard out from there, depending on what the flips contain. And there might be some of that I'll be able to do here, and some, depending on what we find. At least you'll have to-dos, right? Like you'll have direction of this bit, go do an orphan rescue with. This bit, ask future self about. Okay, that's what I think in terms of approach to start. Okay, by that?
The future self in our group session was really helpful, because I have an actual physical representation of the gift I was given. So last night when I went in my room and I was feeling just like, I saw this crystal, and so I held the crystal as a way of communicating. That was a symbol to communicate with my future self.
Awesome.
And it brought the anxiety down. It was like, because I could envision that. again, that image of my future self.
It's so handy. I mean, that's wonderful. And that's your, you know, the intelligence of her and your subconscious to pick that as the gift, right? So there you have something literally tangible in the physical that makes that connection to that greater wisdom.
Right. So that was very useful. Yeah.
Well, go get your crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to bring up the map. It'll take me a second. Got all my maps here on my tablet, so I'm just going and finding Flip It. I'm going to give this a quick save. Okay.
Brought the eagle feather too.
Oh, yes.
And the crystal.
Perfect. 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 I just kind of got goosebumps. So there's the sign. Good. Okay, so you were there for the first two gatherings, so you get a sense of how this works. It's a different dynamic when you're doing it with one person as opposed to a whole group of people. Really handy with the group too. So we're going to, this has got negatives, blah, 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 blah. So that avalanche, we're going to get it piece by piece by piece. And just know as we add the pieces, it will start to feel like that avalanche, you know, feel, because we're going to be piling them on, but I'm not going to leave you there. So once we've got it, we may fill up the whole sheet and it'll progressively feel heavier and heavier. But then we will start from the top. My wisdom for doing this for years and years, at least how I've been taught by doing the work, is that there is wisdom in the layers, right? So I really trust how this comes out of you and the order that it comes in. And so that's why I pedantically get it down the way that I do. And once we've got it down, we follow that order. We start from the top and we just do the cascade as it came out of you.
Okay.
So with that said, this another way, as you saw in the group, we're playing with different states of consciousness. Of course, your higher self is a state of consciousness. Your now self is. And then what we're looking for is out of your now self, it's kind of putting on selective sifter glasses, but in a negative way, right? Like what are the things that are bothering you? What is causing concern? What's causing doubt, uncertainty, fear, what, you know, whatever it might be on that lower side of the emotional scale. We're going to get those down. One way to think of it as shorthand is one of your shoulders has the so-called devil on it. Mm-hmm. And the other shoulder has the angel or the future self, you know, on it. So find out which shoulder has which and then pass the mic up. Who we're miking up first is the so-called devil. I say so-called because they aren't really. They're survival mechanisms, you know, they're there to protect us, and often they're very wise too, instead of just, you know, being whatever negative thing we might think. Yeah. Okay, so I think I can tell by you're figuring out which shoulder and you're getting ready to mic, so let it rip. What does the devil say?
Well, just when, okay, here she goes. Mm-hmm. You figured it out. Just came out of your cave and ready to launch, this had to happen. So maybe you should have just stayed in your cave, because you never know when you're going to get to Spirit Bay now. You have that house sitting there all by itself. Nobody's living in it, paying for it. And like, it sucks. Right?
Okay. Yeah. So let's put just when you're ready, this should have stayed in cave.
Yeah. And then right after that, it's like, well, that's a really selfish thought. People are dying from this disease. It's not about you. So why are you making it about you? Pretty selfish.
Okay. This isn't about you. How selfish. I'll say good when we get into the gnarly stuff. I'm like, ooh, good. That's a good one. That's a bitchy mean one. Okay, good. Oh, selfish. Nah, 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 nah. Okay. What else you got, Gremlin?
What's in there? There's something about my mom and caring for my mom because she's on the island. I'm caring for her. So how could I be caring for her when I'm here? And that's,
Are you seeing my screen? You're seeing it, flip it? Are you seeing the screen?
I saw something happen. Whoa.
Maybe I didn't share it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was off. There we go. Okay, this is gonna make a lot more sense. Good. Okay, boom, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. Um, like failure. Yeah, you're a failure. I'm a failure. Here I was, had this all planned, had it all, even though I was traveling from Ontario to British Columbia every month. Even then I felt like I wasn't doing a good enough job. Now I really feel like I've let the protector role go. And of course, then it starts to flip. Of course, I can't help it, but it's still there. It's guilt.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. The angel's popping up and soothing it already, but we're like,
I've
okay,
let,
hold on, angel. Let's just let the
yeah,
negative one have.
I've let my mom down.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
let,
and because your mom's out here, so
yeah,
you're split.
yeah. She's in a care home by herself.
Mm.
So I've let her down. I made a promise to her. Well, to myself, not so much to her. So I feel like a bit of a fraud that way.
Mm.
Um,
Sorry, hon.
there's there's even parts of exploring new ways of working, and like you can't even draw a stick figure. How are you going to draw on a tablet and show people? So there's the critic, right?
Okay, so part of what was this new evolution for you was also dovetailed with working visually, right? Weaving that into your work. So this feels like the kibosh here, like that was a pipe dream. Since this party you's on a roll about taking the bazooka out and shooting down everything. So it's also going, who are you?
Yeah.
To work visually.
Yeah. Um, and in the midst of all this, I've had to put up some boundaries in a work situation that really was not working in my best interest. So then the gremlin or critic or comes out and says, "Oh, so you're blowing that deal. So how are you going to make money if you blow that deal? Why don't you just keep your mouth shut?" And then, but.
Okay, let me get that one down. So, blue deal by talking.
Yeah, my speaking out, which I don't even know that I have. I probably haven't, but that's the story in my head, right? That I've spoke out and defended myself and probably pissed off somebody who's going to affect my flow of income. Yeah. And then I really should be doing, there's a part of me that thinks I should be doing more. I should be offering services online for people. I should be doing more instead of just sitting in my house. Like there's things that I could be doing without even going out of my house, but maybe I could be contributing to society in a better way. So there's that. Do more, be more.
I'm going to put B down here, be more. Okay. Thank you, Gremlin. What else do you got?
I feel like a really crappy grandma right now because I have grandchildren who are 5 hours from me. I can't see them. I feel like they need my support through all this. And that's a really major role for me. So two really major roles have like being a caregiver to my mom and being a present grandmother as much as I can. They've it feels like they've been taken away from me.
How many grandkids?
4.
And boys and girls?
1 girl and 3 boys, all little. One's a baby, so
Yeah.
and my daughters, right, that are homeschooling. Well, one is her kids are in school. The other, she's got little ones at home, and I'm feeling like I, you know, even though it's not possible, I still feel like I should make it possible. Maybe I should be having homeschool sessions for the kids to make it easier, or maybe I should be reading story time, nighttime to them. Like it's just like, and then it like now I can see it, right? My head doesn't stop, like it doesn't. There's always something going on.
Okay, I got that down.
Do more and be more. Yeah. So do
Yep.
more.
And bad grandmother and mom.
Daughter.
And daughter. Yes, I got that over with your
Friend.
caregiver
Yeah,
role.
I could be a better friend. Did I reach out to so and so? Oh, I haven't heard from them. I better contact them. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Okay, it's another side of it. I got it. Should be a better friend, should reach out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably it.
What else you got there, Gremlin? No, you got some gnarly ones probably. What else is on there in the when we come down this last column, usually we get boom, 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 right underneath in it. You're doing well. No, it's not easy.
Well, there's stuff and should have done, should have, should not have. So stuff, I have so much stuff that I'm sorting through. We've worked through this in a previous session, stuff. And as I'm looking through my stuff, like books I've never read, courses I haven't finished, things I haven't completed. And there's been a real beating going on over here. Again, you're not doing enough. What have you been doing with your time? Why did you get that if you didn't need it? Or you don't really need it. Why are you taking it? Like it's, and then some memories coming up about things, about people that weren't supportive, people who were supportive, how I've put my energy into things that weren't worthwhile.
My word would be regrets. Is that a
Yeah.
appropriate word? Regrets about, yeah. Are there particular ones that really land? Who do you regret about? You can change the names if you care to, or give something just enough that you understand.
I think unfinished business, really. Words that I didn't say, and the hurt that's continued with some relationships in the past. And I think that the last couple, like in the last week, I've blasted a couple people in work situations, and that's not like me. Like really, I'm usually really diplomatic and I can choose my words. It's not that the words were wrong, it was my tone, right? I got really angry. Like I raised my voice. I was angry, right? And when I start doing that, then I know the dragon is gearing up for destruction. Yeah, that's how it feels. And it was about not being appreciated for what I'm doing in both cases. Yeah. And also protecting others. So it was both. It was, defending myself and protecting other people who didn't need protecting, really. Like, children, but I was concerned about people's jobs being cut or incomes being dropped, and for other people it wasn't even so much myself as much as it was for other people.
Mm-hmm.
I took on the cause.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, but
Yeah.
not in the best way I could have, right? Because those, when spoken in anger, those words are often lost, and it's the tone that remains, right? So then,
Yeah. So you're regretting that knee-jerk reaction, or feels like it was at the time as you think back on it.
yeah, yes, they both were, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got room for one more. Got a juicy one? We gotta have some fun. There's usually a really deep, gnarly one, core one when we get to the bottom here, Brenda. Sorry, I should have turned off my phone.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say it, although I'm already in here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Um, the choice, yeah, that I've made with my life, a lot about where I live. Mm-hmm.
So, like, what have I done? What am I doing?
What have I done? How did I get here?
Okay, that's a core one. I just got that zingy feeling in the back, which is like, oh yeah, we're there. Okay, how did I get here? I think the emphasis is on that here.
With that, it almost feels like a punishment, which makes no sense at all.
And with the punishment, is it like I deserve to be punished, or I'm
It's like
being
being punished from an outside source, which is
okay?
just
Okay, no, good,
ridiculous. But that's how it feels. It feels like I'm being punished, like this. Yeah,
right?
this instance in time, it's like I'm being punished for something, and I don't deserve to be punished.
Well, and what this brings up, I mean, so much of this is all my work is right brain, right? And the right brain is the subconscious. So this is a way of, the subconscious is often not logical. And it also gets formed up from earlier places that didn't have their whole rationale and linear way of thinking built up, right? So, and then this method, and it doesn't have to be all picture perfect, right? For it to be effective method, it brings it up into the light of day so that you can work with it with another aspect of your consciousness. So that one makes a lot of sense to me, and it's a core foundational one that many of them can be built on. So this being punished from outside, and with that, you know, a victimhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, victimhood.
Yeah, it's a lot for many of us in this situation, victim and persecutor. Okay, very deep polarity many human beings, most of us, all of us have to some extent or other. Okay, sweetheart, good work. You filled it up? Yep. Now we're going back up. Yeah, yeah. It can be intense. Okay, so we trust the wisdom of how it fell out, and we go to the tippy top. And the first one is just when you were ready. You should have just stayed in your cave, damn it. Like, who are you? Crab in the bucket. Who are you to get out of that bucket? Get back where you belong. Now, we've just evoked an aspect of your consciousness. I'm being humorous, but I am taking it seriously. And you can have a go at the answer. And if you need to, you can call on a friend. And your friend in this case is the future self or the angel. Yes, through the crystal. Exactly. Perfect. Good. You don't need the phone. It's through the crystal. Yeah. Let's make a deal. Yeah. So
it's not a rude I told you so, but
yeah.
we did two future selves. Like I've done two future selves. I did more into this future and then
Good.
a year from now, right?
So it's a future self and a future self. Yeah.
It was like it's not always going to be easy, and it's you're getting through it, and it's worth it. You will know that it's worth it, and even if when I connect with that feeling, absolutely worth it. It's just getting through the gnarly stuff, like you call it.
Yeah.
It's just a brief moment in the larger part of time. And
She's got the perspective. She can see that bigger picture. She's acknowledging too, which is important, right? Acknowledging it is gnarly. It does suck. It does feel awful. And from her larger perspective is seeing it is temporary and you're going to get through this and it's going to be worth it.
yeah.
Okay. Thank her for that. A little bow to that wisdom. Now we go to the next layer. Who are you to have this focus on how it impacts you? This isn't about you. If you focus it all on yourself, you're just being selfish.
Mm. Well, it affects me in so many ways that it's okay to acknowledge how it affects me, while still realizing and having empathy for people that have had huge losses.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the loss is still significant. So feel it, grieve it. It's okay.
Yeah,
Doesn't make me a bad person.
exactly. And we're seeing that in that larger community or two that we've been working, especially, we're seeing it progress along through the weeks, and so many people to just take a moment to just, the things that have been changed and moved around and dropped off and aren't coming back. In your case, a move on hold and different kinds of investments in order to do that, and all sorts of steps and conversations and organization that occurred.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes on a dime. I mean, that's something. So good. Her wisdom to say there's losses involved here and to grieve them. And that doesn't make you a selfish person. You're still open to what other people's processes and what they're going through and what they're losing. And you've got loss too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you, future self. Then the gremlin ratchets it down, kind of doubles down and says, well, you're a failure because of what's happening and what occurred and what you set out to do and it being impacted as it is in the now, that you're a failure.
Mm. Mm. That's a tougher one. um,
Go to a future self or future self who's out beyond a year even. She's got a larger stretch of time. Is it true? Is Brenda a failure because of what's occurred in 2020 and how that's changed the plans that she thought she had going? Does that mean she's a failure?
Absolutely not, because I keep going and I learn and I keep learning, and it strengthens who I am. And all of these setbacks just teach me more and help me to develop more as a person and strengthen me.
So it adds, this is not a condemnation or a description. This is experiential. This is actually something that is cumulative, is an addition as opposed to a subtraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, future self. Now we go more personal. We go into the caregiving role because now you're split two different coasts and you're kind of screwed whichever coast you end up finding yourself on, or not coast, but area, right? Regions. So over here where you were going to come and the trip's been interrupted for now, your mother is here.
Mm-hmm.
And feeling that you've let down mom and the promise that you made to yourself about how you were going to be for and with your mom.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what helps me when I do get into that is to honor her journey. Like, this is not
So glad you said that.
This
Good.
is my mom's journey. And that's what I've been on this journey with her for 3 years now. And of this journey, this part of our journey together. Mm-hmm. And it's just all part of her life path. And I need to honor that. And I don't have to swoop in and and rescue her, that she's okay, she's being taken care of on all levels. And I can communicate with her in ways I forget at times, that we don't have to be in person to communicate with one another.
Mm.
You can care for somebody from a distance if you need to,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, to really honor her path, her life path, and what's unfolding.
Mm-hmm. She's your own person,
Mm-hmm.
her own woman.
Yeah. And the same with my daughters, like, same applies, right? They're learning about themselves as mothers and their own matriarchal part in their own families, right? Their mom doesn't have to come in, swoop in, and rescue them. They're very capable, strong women. Yeah.
Just putting that underneath that one since it's coming out. Capable women. We'll do more with that. Okay, goosebumps. Then we switched to something kind of different, which is part of this package was moving into, this is how you and I know each other, with the fundamentals and some of the other courses you're doing, moving your way into doing what I'm doing now with you.
Mm-hmm.
So who the heck are you to work visually? Well, that was a dumb idea. You can't even draw. You can't even draw a stick figure. What the heck were you thinking?
I was thinking it was really cool when I watched it. Now that I'm doing it, it's like, whoa. Yeah, just working through that imperfection. You need to practice. You just, like, what else is my future self gonna say? You just need to practice and be patient with yourself and have a sense of humor. And get over yourself. Not a cruel way, not a cruel get over yourself. It's like just enjoy the journey and have some fun. And even when I do that, then it's fun, right? Playing with my new tablet and doing some fun things. Just take the pressure off of myself.
Yeah. And you, like me, you're doing process work, right? So you're probably not, although I was for a good decade of my early career, a graphic recorder. I moved into being a co and then a lead with process work. You're a seasoned professional, you're a leader. And so this is a tool in your toolkit to help people think and feel. You're not being a graphic recorder, as cool and as amazing that is. There may be parts in what you do process wise, like me too, where you're following, somebody's talking and you're following along behind and you're not doing a whole bunch of hardcore facilitation. So the aesthetics are different, and you only have so much time, like what I'm doing here, right? So actually, stick people come in handy. And I can teach anybody how to draw a stick person. Come on.
I can do it. That wasn't true.
You can draw a stick person. Good. Okay, we're equipped to actually do some good visual process work. Yay.
Yes. Just don't compare it to other people.
Yes, and you can partner. So, what's the hard part is getting the clients and having that cachet and that wisdom and that, trust built up with your network, which you have. So you can flex accordingly. You don't have to do everything. There's some stuff you can do, but if you need really polished studio pieces, or you need some kick-ass graphic recording in the room while you're facilitating, partner.
Okay.
That's my visual skills instructor jumping in there with some content bits, but okay, let's go to your next one. Now we're getting into, I spoke out. I blew this particular deal. I defended myself and I pissed off that person who might be attached to the purse strings, and bad me.
Bad girl.
Oh, it's good girl training. Is that what's coming out? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put bad girl. Yeah. A lot of us struggle with that, don't we?
Yes.
Okay, so Angel, future self, is this true? It may be true, but so what? No. What does she say?
I made a commitment when I walked away from the 8:30 to 4:30 world that, well, even before that, that it took me a long time to learn to speak my truth. and I do it carefully, and I do it necessarily. So it's, I have to trust the process too. I mean, if this is the case, then I don't want to work for a place. I don't want to work with an individual who does not allow me to have, like, we can't have these conversations when we need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. If they can't handle
And if
that.
you're going to stifle me, um, and cut me off, well, there's other opportunities, right? And
Yeah, because the next one it comes to underneath is is the income, right? So there's this thing flashing, wow, this is going to impact my income. So when the scarcity thing comes up, there's this kind of deal with the devil that we can make. It's like, okay, am I going to suppress myself because of the fear of the money and do that? Or do I keep going with my values? So let's go to the next level of it, which is speaking out is one thing, but boy, this might impact my income flow. So let's stare that
I,
in the
I've,
face.
I've chosen, this isn't the first time, I've chosen
Mm-hmm.
integrity over money. And that's my, it's very important to me. And
Sometimes there's a line.
the results of giving in, it just feels so abusive.
Mm-hmm.
It feels
Mm-hmm.
really bad. It's
Mm-hmm.
good because I've done it. I did it before, but now I don't do that. And when it comes to that point, then I know it's necessary, right?
So no to abuse and yes to what? Is it self-respect, dignity, care,
Well, integrity. I mean,
integrity? Yes.
I treat myself is respect, like respect for myself and others. Um,
Yeah. And there's,
and then there's some responsibility, like, and responsibility in the work that I'm in. If something is what I see as unethical, or I have a responsibility, and that's the integrity again.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that lands very deeply. I resonate with that because I've certainly been in situations like that myself. And even though at times it has had ramifications, usually it comes back somewhere else. And I'm in a much better suited place and I have my self-respect and dignity.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And you also model. Sometimes you're modeling, right? So,
mm-hmm.
and it may, people who are seeing that, they may not be able to do that then, but it sticks with them. And who knows how that's going to impact them down the road with who they are and what they end up doing, right? With what you modeled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, future self. So, or even your now self got that one. Um, Now we go to, despite all that stuff, I can still get myself on the doing.
Mm-hmm,
I should be doing more. I should be contributing more.
mm-hmm.
Is that true?
I feel like it is.
Okay. So what do you say if it is true? What do you say? Give it to the future self. See what she says. Whichever one you want to go to, the future self or the future. What do they say?
Hmm. I think it's kind of like along what you just said, that I'm doing things that I don't know the impact. So things through my work that I'm doing, um, the people that I'm working with, the people that I'm mentoring, we're doing work together. It's it's far reaching. So know that I'm doing in that way, but I'm thinking about I should do more, like to contribute. Um,
The work that you are and have been doing is deep work and
it
has traction to it.
is. And it works into like community level work, and it
Mm.
affects a lot of people. And I don't necessarily see the impact of that.
Mm.
Um,
But she's saying it's there. You're part of that. you're impacting, the nature of your work is far reaching and it impacts a lot of people, and it has a trajectory that you might, which often does in change work, right, that we're involved in, that we're not, especially depending on the nature of your practice, you're not there to see the full play out and the ripple effect of it, because you're off to the next thing to go support with. But she's saying to you, it is there. So this should be doing more, is a recognition of, well, you're actually doing a lot, and keep in mind the ripple effect that you're often not privy to. Is there, I want to go for the part that's like, yeah, you should be doing more. Is there something specific? Is there something that you've felt, I need to, you know, I've shirked on that, or that really is a important thing and I could have done it, but I'm not? Is there anything right now that's up where we can get more specific than general? Because I think this flip was good for general, but it's got me curious about, I wonder if there's a specific here. What's the specific?
I'm thinking about people like less privileged. I'm thinking about my privilege, actually. I live in, I'm staying in this beautiful home. I've rented another beautiful home, and I'm quite comfortable. If I didn't watch the news, I could live in La La Land and pretend nothing was happening out there. So what am I doing to help people who have a lot less? So what really triggered with this was I was talking with someone, and she was, but it was and it's part of her job, but she was going to pack food hampers. And my thought was, I should be doing that. I should be going and doing that. I should be going and helping. Well, first of all, they're not even supposed to be collected together to do this. But maybe there is something that I could be doing. And it's interesting because there was an opportunity for a proposal to write today that came up, and that's going to channel some of that. Mind you, it'll be work. Then I go to, well, it's work, it's not volunteer, but it's still looking at people from less privilege.
I don't know if your screen is stalled, but mine has.
Oh, okay.
Okay, looks like we're back in business and we're back recording. Pat will do her magic with integrating this. So let me just give a little verbiage that she can work with so she can figure out where to put her cut. So Pat, I'm just going to give you a long pause, and then I'll do a lead in, and then I'll do another pause, and you can find somewhere in there to cut it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we're back. We had a momentary technology glitch, and rebooted things, and we've got back going again, and just joking that maybe we needed a little break there. The intensity was building up, so we'll trust the process. The good news is the map is all here.
I thought about running away.
You didn't get off the hook, right? It was not meant to be.
Maybe I should just sign off. It's not happening.
Yeah, there's two things, and it's this program did a good job with saving it, because there was a split that was happening in the energy. There was one, I'm too privileged, which we're going to come back to. And then we were finding is there something legitimately that one should be doing? Because I got curious about, is there a certain thing we're talking about? Because, sometimes it's wisdom, it's not resistance. It's like, yeah, you should be doing more, right? So I don't know, but that's why I'm poking around a little bit. And then what emerged was the food baskets that were coming together, the hampers, and it's like, well, actually, they're not supposed to be assembling as a group to do those. Yeah. And so, might be good you're not doing that particular thing, but then what's the safe workaround? And if there is something legitimately that your soul, wants to be doing more, what is that? So it's saying you need to do more and you need to be more. So first off, the do more is, you know, the work you're doing is very far reaching. It impacts a lot of people. That's in play. So there's a lot more going on than just you being in the room or doing your various things at the upfront. What about this business with the hampers where this came up about, boy, they're doing this stuff. I should be doing that. What's your angel say about that particular project?
Well, it's a question. She's asking me, why is it so difficult to take care of yourself? And if anything about doing more, that's where the doing more lies.
Okay, yeah. So it is tied into this privilege. So why is it so difficult to care for yourself? Was that the word?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this is an inquiry question she's given you. She's going, wow, when you have some time and you're in a pause, here's some deeper work to really look at the tendency and where that came from around, and this is true for many of us who are, you know, helping professionals, right? It's very difficult to zero in on our own stuff, and we can often go out into others. So
Yeah.
I want to go back to the privileged if we can, because that's another layer.
Okay.
In a way, it belongs in brown potentially than in this green, but I think it's actually connected to why is it that's so difficult to care for myself. How are those two connected? I'm asking the angel, what's going on with Brenda and privilege? And how does that tie into her having a hard time caring for herself?
Mm.
Did you grow up in privilege?
Well, compared to many, I did.
But I'm wondering if that contrast was there right in your face, because I know you do a lot with First Nation communities and
Yeah. Yeah.
intermarried into and are on reserves in different
Yeah.
lands and nations.
It's brought up a lot, being being a non-Indigenous, being a settler
Mm-hmm,
descendant,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
working within communities. It's a continual reminder, and I also remind myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remind myself a lot. No, and my upbringing, actually, it was like we weren't privileged. We were like lower class was what the message was from
Mm-hmm.
my father anyway. So it was always like, don't get too high on yourself. So it keeps me in check.
Okay, so that's part of what's popping up here is that programming, hey?
Keeps me in check.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm too privileged. So as you've arisen out of what you started in, there's a guilt factor or the too big for your britches thing that emerges from father.
Yeah.
What's your future self say about this? Hey, future self, this is good stuff to be isolating and seeing for Brenda about the classism and the layers here and
Mm.
how her father held it and how she took those messages as a young girl and you know, maybe into adolescence, adulthood, and even now, right? This is probably something near an edge you're working now, right? That's why we go to the future self and future self, because some of the stuff in our now and what's going on for you in the midst of this swirl of COVID too is you're working this stuff that's been your theme for this life, you know, around privilege and around moving through zones, right? Distinctions in society.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
What does future self say to the programming that father dispelled or didn't dispel, but, you know, articulated?
Mm. Well, there's a need to go back and do that healing.
Yes, that's good. Good, good. This is, we've spotted an orphan rescue. So I'm just gonna, this stuff about privilege and about dad and the messages,
Yeah.
orphan rescue.
Yeah.
And there can be other ways to work that too, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that'll give you some, you wanna do more? Good, go do
Oh,
your orphan
oh,
rescue.
Okay.
Thank you, future self. Okay. Dad's messages. And the particular message was it too big for your britches, or what was the message?
Don't get too high on your, like, don't, what he say? It was like, don't get too, it wasn't big for britches, but it was like, don't get so high on yourself. Like you're, I can't remember his exact words, but it was, yeah, it was always keeping me in check.
Yep.
Like, keep yourself. Like he would keep me in check. And then I learned to keep myself in check. The same
Right.
way.
Yeah, we internalize these messages. Yeah. Okay. So that's some programming for you to work with. And you'll see when you do that protocol, the last process group, so number 4, I did an overview on it. And some of the one-to-ones I'm doing with people are orphan rescues. So you'll get a lot that you can help do this one. There's a good ebook that step-by-step works you through it.
Okay.
Perfect stuff to be doing. This is going to help a lot for everything you're going to go beyond this time and do. Just trust the process is coming up now. It's a good one to get healed. Bring up into light of day and heal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. So now we move to the next layer. You kind of flipped this next one already because you did it with the role around caregiving for your mom. And then there's a role here of caregiving with your daughters and with your grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
And the flip you came up with is, you know, I don't have to butt in there and do everything. They're on their own journey too, and they're strong women and they're coming into their own capability. So this actually is what needs to happen here.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something you said about mom not running in and taking care of everything.
Call me Mama Bear.
Yeah. Okay. So that can be like a little overdone, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
People got to develop their own muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So not scratching the mama bear over mama bear stuff. Yeah. Anything else future self wants to say about that stuff about grandmother? I'm feeling like you're a bad grandmother because of how things are playing out.
Just so you know that's not true.
Yeah.
What
is true?
It's true. I'm a very loving, caring grandmother. Yeah.
I bet you are.
I need to be in their presence, and they know that. They're not going to forget me. They're not going to think I've abandoned them. Yeah.
Okay, very good. There's not a slacking on this roll there. Don't have to worry about that. You can take that off. Now we go to the friend layer. Okay, if I can't get myself on the grandmother and on the daughter roll, at least I can beat myself up for being a bad friend.
Crappy friend.
That's right. I'm a crappy friend, damn it.
Well, the phone works both ways.
Yeah, so good. It's not just on you.
That's
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's a positive flip or not, but really, I mean,
I think it is because it extends it from just it being your responsibility.
It's not just my responsibility to maintain our friendships, and yeah. And when I think of someone, I'll send them a message and see how they're doing, and that's just how it rolls.
Okay, is that? I think that's landing in your body from I always use myself as a calibrator. Is like, is that clicking for me? And I'm like, yeah, I think that did it. Okay. Now we go into the stuff layer.
Yeah.
So I've got so much stuff and I've been working on decluttering and I was making some progress there. But boy, when I start getting into the stuff, I get into all these unfinished, at least at the stuff level. There's more to come around the relationship stuff, but the stuff level, God, I bought a bunch of stuff I haven't used.
I didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
I haven't even opened.
Now you got some time. Yeah.
A yard sale.
Yeah. Well, that might literally be it. Heck of a yard sale. Good. Once people allowed to regather in yards.
Well, it was what came to me was that's who I was then, and it was all part of the journey. And now share those things.
Nice.
Share those things with others. Make money. where possible, though it's all part of the journey. So quit
Yeah.
beating yourself up, damn it.
Yeah. Let them go, let those things go their way, and then you create room for the new stuff. Who are you now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we go to the relationship layer. So as you're sorting through stuff and you're seeing this and that, then you go to some regrets about relationships as things that were playing through your head,
Mm-hmm.
and words that were said or weren't said,
Mm-hmm.
and past relationships that are still in a holding a hurt,
Yeah.
maybe for you or for others.
Mm-hmm.
What's your future self say about this stuff? What's the flip here?
Again, it's the healing and going through those relationships, and where, like, finding some resolution, whether it's writing out letters, contacting people where I feel that's needed.
So take the steps, figuring it out, and there might different things for different
Yeah.
relationships, right? But determine them,
Yeah.
and see if you can, as you encounter them, do what needs to be done if it's a doing thing.
And let it go. It's too much to carry. It's too much,
Mm-hmm.
too much
Mm-hmm.
to carry. So work through it, and just like the stuff, take the lessons,
Yeah.
find the value, and release.
Okay. Well done. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Next layer is around blasting people. So something happened where, oh my God, you had an angry tone to your voice and you were feeling unappreciated. And also what was coming up was your tendency to protect others.
Mm-hmm. Mama bear.
Yeah. Okay. Mama Bear raised her head again. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm.
And so what does future self say to you about, I had a Mama Bear incident?
Well, first of all, when I start a sentence with, I think we should talk about this another time, I'll listen to my own voice. Number one, which happened
It's pretty amazing you can do that.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I had just come out of our group processing. I did an orphan rescue about the same person that I lost it on, and I was feeling all zen. I was good. And then
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah. Um, yeah, it's just not how I
You're a
want.
human being.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, F up.
Thanks for yourself.
That's what mine would say.
Deserved it.
Yeah, well, maybe that's true.
Well, you kind of did, but
Okay, well, if that's what future self's saying, forget this feeling bad, because sometimes you do need to blast people and you need to
yeah,
call it like it is.
yeah.
Yeah. And anger is not necessarily a bad thing. Again,
I didn't
programming, we get programmed, right? That it's bad, especially as women. Yeah.
didn't call them names. I just
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the next one was, yeah, a funder, not probably a good idea. And it wasn't really a blast, but it was a tone.
What, anything else she says? I mean, is there any doings or beings with this? Is it just lay
Well,
low, see how it plays out?
like, apologize if you need to for the part
Uh-huh.
that you like, and I did to this person. I didn't apologize for the words, but I apologized for the voice, right? That I raised my voice.
The tone, not
It
probably not your voice, but the tone or the energetic of it.
was a tone that was not necessary. Yet
Yeah.
I still felt really strongly about what I said.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say but.
Okay,
So
good. So
I
you're already.
owned my part that
And
wasn't.
how has it been since you did that? Is there still, it sounds like there's still a part in there that's not, you're feeling bad about. Yeah.
Probably feeling bad because he'll probably blame it on the virus, on the coronavirus. I shouldn't laugh, but
He will, or you will?
because he'll say I was a woman that was just, oh,
In
she's
your emotionality. Mm-hmm.
I was, stressed out. and the message was lost. That's my regret in it, that the message
Mhm.
was lost, likely because I got so emotional.
Okay. Okay. So in a way, your gremlin is actually kind of given that patriarchal kind of answer. Oh, you're an over emotional woman.
Mm.
So you got an internalized patriarch in there. Um, what's your future self say to that? She's more divine feminine. What'd she say?
Well, she's saying it was a really, like, it was an important thing to talk about, and it's okay to have gotten emotional about it
Yeah, there you
because
go.
I'm caring. I care about people.
Hmm.
That's where that emotion came from, was that if people weren't going to be able to feed their families, if people weren't going to be able to pay their rent, and that's, um, yeah.
Yeah, so she's kind of saying to this, and
Oh,
when I say patriarchy, I mean men and women. It's not just men, right? Patriarchy is across, it's a structure. So to that structure that wants to impose kind of the right brain emotionality, which is saying no, the right brain emotionality has its place. If you can't do it when you're talking about dire circumstances for people where their shelter or their food or their basic needs may be impacted, where the heck could you do it?
mm, mhm.
So it's bogus, this stuff about there's no place for emotions. Yes, there are. Thank you very much. And when it comes down to basic needs, that's a place.
Mm.
I'm just poking here. I'm guessing. I'm just working with what I'm seeing come from your future self and throwing in my own limbic senses. So you got to see what lands for you.
She says, "You'll do it again."
Yeah, yeah, human. Yeah. Lots of practice to love yourself as a human being. Yeah.
Um,
Okay, like your future self. Okay, future self, we're going to the core one. How did I get here?
oh,
I am being punished.
mm,
There's something bigger outside of me that is doing this to me
mhm,
as opposed to for me.
mm, mm. It's all part of the journey.
Yeah.
It's all part of the journey. You'll see. And when you're sitting on that deck, looking at those whales.
Mm-hmm. When you get here, when we're having a tea at Spirit Bay, yes, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you need me to
Cool.
look on your house, you just let me know.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to zip over and see. I told you what a house looks like in Spirit Bay. If you need, is that where's the owners?
Right next door.
Okay, they're there. They're fine. They don't need they don't need the house
Yeah,
looked in on.
yeah,
Yeah,
the key. Next time I see you.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay, so what is she saying to you about the here? So how did I get here? Is this a bad here to be? Is this a statement on your worth or your value?
no, it's life. Life. It's life, my dear. It's just saying,
Yeah.
it's life. It's how life goes.
Mhm.
Life is unexpected. I can't control life. It's
Yeah.
I can control what I do with it and just keep moving through, move forward with love. What came to me this morning was like to spend some time praying. That's what I could do
Mm-hmm.
more of, right? Feel
Mm-hmm.
out of control when my heart is just hurting when I see how many people are hurting and losing people and people
Mm-hmm.
being lost. Just pray for those people
Mm-hmm.
meaningfully.
Yep.
Send out
Yep.
that love and good
From
energy.
your heart. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And maybe that in a way is why you're there. That's not a punishment. It's actually an allowance, right? It's actually allowing you to be one of those who can hold the energetic fort for others, right? And to put your love out into the energetic.
Mm.
out into the field for people, which is very important,
Mm.
especially for others where their fate and their journey is something different.
Yeah.
At this point in time, we don't know. At any time, it can change for any of us.
And as far as like the physical location, I've learned so much being here. I've learned so much doing this work and living in this community and working in this community. And I've had opportunities I may not have had elsewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
embrace that and feel grateful for that.
So the timing of all this is all okay. There's no harm or foul in that the timing got shifted on you.
Mm-hmm. Besides, I asked for more time to be able to do my packing. I felt like everything was too much. I need more time. I need more time.
Everybody I've been talking to says the same thing to some extent, right? Like I put out into my vision. One of my clients is in her country house. She's in Italy, right? And so she's been alone with her dog for quite some time, and it was on her vision several months ago. And she's like, wow, isn't this ironic? Because here I was visioning, I got it now. Yeah. And I think many of us are like that, right? There's lots of rockets of desire that millions and billions of people have been launching about just how frenetic and nutso things we're getting and the desire for the flip of that. And in a way, we're getting that.
Slow down. People, you're right. So many people I heard too. They just wanted life to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was getting unmanageable for human beings.
Hmm.
The system is course correcting at that systemic level. Okay, my dear, we did it. We step by step pulled out your avalanche and flipped it. So you come in, we do something, and then you leave. So before you leave, who are you now? Like, how are you feeling now? What's your closing quote? It doesn't have to be all Pollyanna. What's genuine? I am, I have.
Hmm. I feel content with where I am right now
Nice.
and calm. Mm-hmm.
Wow, good.
Thank you very much for this.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Privileged to do it, and a wonderful, generous example for others who are wrestling with their own avalanches. Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording. Thank you.